Once you're eliminated from the playoffs, everybody becomes a NDSU.
It's 90 most of the way.
Straight shot.
How far off 90 is it?
Not very.
Because it doesn't go through the town, though, right? Yeah. I did a tour out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not to golf.
Call it
trash.
Oh, I would have golfed there easy.
Well, I'm gonna go out there.
I don't know if I even would have done it. I don't know if it would have worth my time out there at the time. They weren't D1 yet.
Oh yeah.
No, I went out there and did a tour in the winter, like at semester, and it was almost like my college coach knew. He called me the day so I was there for like, I don't even think I stayed overnight. Nah, I probably did. I think I stayed there one night, came back, and the day I came back, my college coach called me out of the blue. I'm like, he's like, "How is everything going okay?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." And he's, I think he called because our grades came in, and I got all A's. And our college golf team had the worst GPA of like any program on campus at UW Green Bay. Like our team GPA, like they couldn't include me yet because I only 3 freshmen made the roster, and I was one of them. So I don't think he could count. Well, I didn't have a GPA yet, so he couldn't have counted us yet. But like their team GPA was like 1.9. It's a golf team. Usually, golf team you count on as being the good kids. But the kids on that team at the time were fun, but I don't think they went through a lot of classes. But so he saw my grades that semester. I think he was calling to make sure I was staying, and he needed my GPA. Well, I was redshirted anyway. It wasn't like I was gonna play that year, but probably freaking doubled our team GPA. Or brought it up by a point at least.
Gosh. Book Lover says, is that where N is going? No, she's going to Augustana in Sioux Falls. It's not that far from STSU. That is not that far.
That's where my brother goes.
It's like an hour. Is it not even?
It's like 45.
45. This is when I got into MMA right here.
This fight?
No, it was the first year of the Ultimate Fighter. Do you know what the Ultimate Fighter is? It's like the real world. It's like, I don't know what they do anymore. Like that's like that where everybody goes and lives in a house together, and they have a competition against each other. Basically, there's 2 teams. So that year was Chuck Liddell had a team. Now he doesn't. They draft the teams when they get there, but like the UFC picks like 20 up and comers to live in this house, and it's like a reality TV show. And they all live in this house together, and then they end up after a little training, they draft teams. Basically, the 2 captains. The 2 captains will be like established guys that are going to fight for a title later on. So that's what it was back when Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture were about to fight. So they were the 2 captains, and so then they just basically you fight through the house. So let's say it's 20. So then basically it gets down to 2 guys, and that all the fights are recorded until that. So they all have to sign a thing that says they won't tell anybody anything. So they do all this, all these fights happen, and then they're gone. They've been recording the TV show, so this whole season is recorded, and they all have to sign these things that say they won't say what happened because it's supposed to be. Nobody's supposed to know. This looks like a live fight, but it really was recorded a while ago. So that was the first year. Now we're on year this is 2006 probably. 2000. No, it's before that. Because I wasn't. It was probably 2004. Amharf's here. What's up, Amharf?
Boo.
Shirley, come on. How dare you? We were just talking about if he was actually going to go to bed at a decent time tonight. I guess it isn't even 10 o'clock yet, but...
Yeah, he's going to bed at 6.
Card Star, what's good? Devin is in the house over on TikTok. What's good? What's good?
So that's when like 2004, that's like when I started getting into it. My now ex-wife and I like watched that show together and like fell in love. Like I never even really knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the only reason I remember thinking, what is this crap? Like, this isn't, I mean, I knew of it, but then the Wild play-by-play guy left that job. He quit that job to take a job announcing for the UFC. I remember going, what the hell? Like, how is that? Like, that's a dream job. Like, that is like the most coveted, a state in this country that actually knows hockey. As a hockey guy, you want that job more than any other job. And he basically, the Wild, he was going to be gone, this many Saturdays during UFC, and the Wild said, it's either you do that or this. He said, okay, I'm going to do UFC. And so he was the UFC's play-by-play guy for a million years. He quit a few years ago or whatever. But, so yeah, that's when we got into it. And then a local guy got on the show too while I was at the Post Bulletin. Colton's back! What's up, Colton? Tommy Spear from Elgin. Graduated from Penn and stuff. And so we had known each other before he got on the show even. Hey, got it, E-Blasters. I did not find any more. I wish. Hopefully early this coming week we'll get more of the Prison Blasters. He ran us through them. Wasn't very nice, Colton. Hey, at least he got some good stuff out of there. Some nice stuff. I suppose I can put that guy down. He's blocking my wall. God, the camera already froze again. I just give up, I guess. I don't know. But, so yeah, a local guy got on. And, so I was at the Post Bulletin then, so I pitched it to them to, like, go to the fight. So he got on the show. Mm-hmm. We know each other, so he knew I wouldn't tell anybody. So he made the final. Mm-hmm. And so I knew the whole time that he did. So I pitched it to the paper to send me out there to Vegas because the final's live. Like, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Like, the two people who won the show are fighting later on this live.
Oh, really?
This year's show, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I pitched it to the Post Bulletin, and they sent me out there. So, back when newspapers, like, had money. But, so that was a blast. He lost, though.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, it sucked.
Dang.
And then, so he still got into the UFC after that, but he had one of the ugliest, he got knocked out bad by a guy who was fighting at 170, who later was fighting at 205 at heavyweight. Anthony Rumble Johnson. It's like just a... But, yeah, Tommy, it was one of the worst knockouts ever. He, like, fell and crumpled, but was leaned up against the cage. Mm-hmm. So, like, his legs are crunched under him, and his head is, like, back against the cage. So he's, like, still kind of sitting up. It's brutal. If you type it in, you'll see it on Google.
Yeah.
But...
And that was, like, the championship?
That was not. That was later on.
Okay.
This guy, Anthony Johnson, was, like, a big time. Like, he fought for the title later. But, no, Tommy lost. He shouldn't have lost. He froze. I've never seen him nervous. And he came out. I could just see his nerves, like, as he came out. Like, and he was... that was one of the coolest experiences of my life, too. Getting a... So they do it... They have a house. Like, it's not a house. It's really... I didn't get to go to the house, but at that time, they had a house in the summer in Vegas. And then they have a training center, the Ultimate... And that's still a thing. Like, yeah. That's still where they go train. So basically, it's a big warehouse that they go train at every day. Mm-hmm. And there's no other... It's not open to anybody, so it's just them in there because they were shooting a TV show. So while Tommy was cutting weight the night before, he let me come to the training center. And so it's him and Matt Hughes, who's like one of the biggest legends ever from the sport. Like, he was the champion at the time, like the 155 champ or 170 champ, 170, and that was his coach on the show. So it's just me, him, and Robbie Law, Ruthless Robbie. He's still fighting in the UFC.
Okay.
And this is 2007 or 8. He's still in the UFC. But back then he was just like a young kid and just partied like crazy. So he was supposed to be there helping me. He was supposed to be there helping Tommy cut weight. It's always good to have someone as you're freaking dying there with you. So he was supposed to be there to help. So literally, Robbie doesn't show up for an hour, so it's literally me and Matt Hughes just sitting there on the cage talking for an hour as Tommy's riding a bike with all his sweat shit on. But Matt, and a lot of people always said Matt Hughes is a prick, and I thought he was awesome. Like, there's a confidence there, but not, he wasn't a dink. So then an hour in, Robbie shows up, Lawler walks in, and Matt Hughes just giving him crap. What's going on, dude? Like, a little bit late night last night? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, what happened with all those girls? And he said, yeah, they came back to the room. And so he was hungover like crazy. but he got into the UFC as like an 18 or 19-year-old kid. And it's like, you're not mentally ready for being on TV and that kind of stuff at that time. So, but he was good then. He was nowhere near what he ended up being. But just a great athlete and hilarious, obviously.
So like me?
Yeah, just like you. Pretty much same guy. Surprised we didn't just start calling you Ruthless. No, that was great. Other than Tommy losing, it sucked. Lost a lot of money there. Never listened to teammates about fights. So that was the other thing they had. Like Matt Hughes' team had another guy on the show, like undercard fight, like not part of the the Ultimate Fighter final. But there's a whole just like this. There's a whole fight card around it. But then there's the fight between the two like guys that made it to the final. So this guy was fighting on the undercard, and they're like, oh, this is our guy. He's freaking ready. He's freaking great, and he's gonna win for sure. So I'm like, I put like $250 on him, which is huge for me. Oh, he gets smashed right away. It looks terrible. I'm like, all right, you don't listen to teammates or coaches when they're fighting. Of course they're gonna say their guy looks great.
Right.
And then, I mean, I'm just lucky that my ATM thing has a limit on it, because I would have put everything I had on Tommy. Because Tommy was fighting a guy who later ends up fighting at 140. He was way small, and Tommy cuts a ton of weight. Tommy fought at 170, and when he started his weight cut, he'd be about 215, and that last week he'd cut 30 plus pounds. He's been a wrestler. He's a farmer. Like, he knows how to do it, and he'd rather die than miss weight, basically. There's times where you had to like hold him you got to hold the door shut in the sauna. It's bad. That's the story of fighting though, right there. But yeah, so Tommy probably, and when they rehydrate, they put on 20 pounds a night, like after, because all you're doing is that at the end, all you're doing is sucking water out of your body. You drink every ounce of water out of your body. So he'll lose almost 20 pounds the last day, but it's just all water. So then you hydrate yourself that night, and you'll be right back up to it. So Tommy probably got in the cage that night at 190, and that guy probably didn't weigh a pound more than 170. Like, he was probably had to gain weight to be there, because he literally later, like within a year, fought at 145. This dude that he fought. So I thought Tommy should smash him, and he should have smashed him, but lost. He lost. He froze. Like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I saw almost every fight of Tommy's career, and I've never seen him get nervous. But once the lights came on there, he did not do good. You could just see in his eyes he was nervous. Now he's just a happy dairy farmer.
Really?
Cows, yeah. I think that's one of the things he said on the TV show too. It was like, that's how I get strong. Freaking cow. If you've never been kicked by a damn cow, he said, you punch him.
You punch him.
He says he's punched a lot of cows. There's so many times I had to tell him, like, dude, there's a lot of things you and I talk about together that if you tell this to some reporter out there, they're printing that shit. Like, I'm not going to print it because I know it's going to get you in trouble. Like, don't do that out there. Because because we were close enough that it's like, but he's also innocent farm kid. He doesn't know it. He just says whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. There, when you say a guy sucks, like, if you said that out there, they're going to run with that like crazy. He tells me, I'm like, I'm not going to get you murdered here. Dude, he got me he'd get me, before the show ran, he got me like advanced copies of the show. Like, so I'd have the CD, like, we could watch, like, of each episode, an individual CD. So yeah, it's just great. Kind of know somebody on the show, man.
It's just great.
Yeah. So he was like season 5 of it. So that one that was just on was the first ever.
But so many of those guys back then made it in the UFC and did huge things in the UFC. Will Matt, what's up? What's up? Happy Saturday, fam. Big boys in the cage now.
Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about UFC.
You would if your coach was here. Is he
Oh.
gone now? Are they overseas already or no? Not yet.
I don't think so. What's the date? No. I think he leaves like August 14th or something.
Okay. So you haven't even seen your parents since you've been back, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. No. But
No.
you told them you're still alive?
Yeah.
That the walking didn't kill you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm surprised you guys didn't get mugged in New York.
I mean, they saw me,
Yeah, probably.
and they're like,
That checks out.
Not
Going back
them.
to Right.
not them.
No. BK Dragon, what's up, BK?
They're like, I know that kid's got money, but not him.
I thought you were gonna say, I know he's different.
That guy just looks different.
He looks different. Is this guy gonna finish this fight or nah? There we go. Oh, I'm getting sick of this dang Twitch cam. Card Breakers Anonymous, what's up? Hit links, what's good? Twitch cam has frozen for the 97th time tonight.